Political reporter Jason Zimmerman covering the Wisconsin delegation in Chicago. He's live there with your Voice, Your Vote coverage tonight. Jason.
Bill, Wisconsin Democrats and just about everyone coming out of the United Center tonight showing a tremendous amount of energy after hearing Vice President Kamala Harris accept her party's nomination for president. What's next is a lot of hard work in the battleground state of Wisconsin, which could go either way this November. After a four-day convention in Chicago, Wisconsin Democrats now focusing on the next few months while playing off the vibe and excitement of seeing their favorite candidates, including Kamala Harris, in the national spotlight.
What they need to take away from this convention is that there is a stark difference between the policies of Donald Trump and the policies of Kamala Harris. Look up Project 2025, look up the policies of Kamala Harris. You're going to see the differences between the two.
The message of working hard for the win was made clear by Harris during a convention week rally Tuesday night in Milwaukee.
No, we haven't already won. 77 days of work to do, my friends.
Democrats hope to attract young voters, especially on issues like supporting reproductive rights and affordable housing. However, Senator Ron Johnson says he believes Wisconsin is still winnable for Donald Trump. Johnson spoke to us in Chicago.
Absolutely, if we focus on the issues, if the public understands the contrast between what President Trump delivered as president, we are a lot better off under his presidency than we have been over the last 3.5 years. So if the public really gets the truth out of the media, I think we should be able to win this thing easily.
Still, the governor says it's Democrats who have the momentum.
People are fired up. Clearly, they understand it's going to be a close race in Wisconsin, a close national race. But people are ready to go to work, to do the hard work. I mean, this is all fun, this is exciting, but at the end of the day, we need to have people vote.
Security tonight was also extremely tight just a few hours before Harris took the stage to give that speech. Much of the convention floor was blocked off to limit capacity and prevent overcrowding. Reporting live in Chicago at the DNC, Jason Zimmerman, Action 2 News.